Let's bring in Jonathan Boyar, principal of Boyar Asset Management. And Jonathan, before we dive into some of your stock picks, just the overall environment right now for value stocks. That's after we've gone through a number of rotations in this market and potentially have a new outlook here because of the Fed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's certainly been dizzying, the amount of rotations that we've had. But I think investors have a great opportunity to buy stocks at significant discounts to what they're worth. There are a great many companies that have solid prospects that are down 10, 20, 30% from their highs. There's also a whole subset that, like in 1999, will never recover. But there's a whole host of companies that we think you can take advantage of the sell-off.
Like what? Give us your top pick.
Well, there's a couple of ones. One, ScottsMiracle-Gro, is one that to us is unbelievably interesting. You have a traditional consumer business, the lawn and garden business, and they have a growing hydroponics business. And the way we value it is you're getting the traditional business and you're paying for the traditional business and getting the hydroponics business for free. And it's fast growing. It grew about 100% over the past 2 years. And the traditional business is a great business. It is Coca-Cola-like market share. It's growing, and it has been a huge pandemic beneficiary. This is a stock that has gone from about $250 in April of this year to, I think it closed today about $138.
So that's Scott's. What's the other big pick that you have?
The other two are kind of related. One's Madison Square Garden Entertainment, and one's Madison Square Garden Sports. Both are controlled by the Dolan family, and they're suffering from the so-called Dolan discount. And one of the things that's really going to help both of these companies is online sports gambling. And that's a theme that we've really been exploring. And I've noticed on CNBC, a lot of people have been talking about how much DraftKings, et cetera, is going to be spending on their marketing. The biggest beneficiaries, or one of the biggest beneficiaries, are going to be both Madison Square Garden Entertainment and Madison Square Garden Sports.
But at the moment, isn't it just tied up with the reopening and the path of the Omicron variant and just how comfortable people are going to feel going out to live events?
Yeah, I mean, that certainly has weighed on shares. They've also done an acquisition that's questionable, but it's selling at levels that were before the vaccine was even available. So at least in the case of Madison Square Garden Entertainment. So it's a really cheap stock. If you believe that people are going to attend concerts and sporting events in the future, then this is a great place to put some of your money.
Let's talk about some other value sectors. What would be your top play in energy, or would you avoid the sector altogether? Energy
is something that we've always or generally avoid. We don't like commodity-oriented businesses. We don't like businesses whose success depends on a commodity price that's totally outside of your control. So that's an area that we certainly would be avoiding.
Interesting. What about financials? Top pick there or avoid?
Financials, we own Bank of America, we own JP Morgan. Chubb is interesting. These are great companies that have fantastic long-term prospects with great market share. So I think it's a great place to be over the next 2 or 3 years.
Anything in technology that you would characterize as a value stock right now? Because we've also seen a lot of these, especially unprofitable tech companies, take a beating.
Yeah, I mean, those are names as value investors we tend to stay away from. But there are companies like Uber that we think are extremely interesting at levels like this. So that's a company that's really misunderstood on Wall Street and is a fantastic reopening play, and in some ways reminds us of PayPal 4 or 5 years ago because of the value of the network it's built up over time.
Can you just remind us of the performance of Boyar and some of your research that you've put out lately in the last year or so?
We've done quite well. I don't have the performance figures right on the top of my head, but we've been around since 1975, and we've been creating value since then. So it's something we're quite proud of.
No, I was just curious, given that we have seen a lot of love for the value stocks in the last year or so. Jonathan, thank you for joining us.